Hey, all, it is John here again, and we've got another fantastic guest to bring so much insight and knowledge. I know you're going to love this guy. He is fabulous with his expertise, the way he's going to present. Everybody, we've got Nick Adams from Midwest Fabricating with us today. Nick, thank you again for being part of Project Barndo and sharing all your knowledge with our viewers, listeners, and readers.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited to be here.
But here's the question: like, how do people? What are the questions you would have people ask? You know, they want to do a metal building, and whether it's a kit package, hiring a contractor. What's the question? You know, one or two questions you like they can't miss. Like, this is the question you have to know that really will raise the red flags, or say, yeah, that's the green light. What should they be aware of?
If they're trying to, let me understand the question. Are you asking? Are they trying to pick out what are the clues to picking out a good contractor?
Yeah, let's go with that. Yep.
So
for a metal building,
here's what I do if I'm trying to reach out to a new sub. And keep in mind, I don't think everything I do is the correct way. And I definitely don't know everything there is to know. I've been doing this a while, and I learn new tricks of the trade every day. And I'm explaining what works for me and what I found to be good for me. I'm not saying somebody's not going to hear this podcast and be like, oh, I could do it better than that. And maybe you can. And I am very good at taking education. I try to put that out there. Show me how you guys do it. Teach me. I always want to know how to be better. I'm not the type of person that's untrainable because I don't know everything. When I'm reaching out to a new subcontractor, let's say, 2 months ago, I had 5 projects going on at one time right here in Wichita, Kansas. I was moderately stressed. We were behind quite a ways. I needed a framing crew for the inside of a commercial job. I am not going to go hire anybody to get me caught up to ruin my reputation. I'd rather be 3 months behind and have customers upset at me and know that it's going to get done right. But there's times where I have to reach out and say, I need a plumber. I need this. I need that. Most generally, how I break this down, and I'm not saying this is the right way, I will get on some of these Facebook pages, and one of the quick things that I will look into is you can search in a search bar framers on a certain Facebook page, and it'll pull up a handful of framing questions. So somebody else has commented on there and said, I need a framing person for this, I need a framing person for that. Who you recommend? When you start going down through the list of comments, people that are recommending themselves and people that have been recommended by other people that they've used can separate a lot. So I usually start there, but I also don't leave it at just that because my children help me. I pay them within the company, and part of their job is to do social media posts and to stay on top of some of that stuff. So they comment on some of that stuff. So I don't rule out the person that's recommending themselves, but I definitely, if somebody else if there's been 5 people that have recommend, Frank's Framing, and Frank's Framing has never recommended himself, there's a good indication right there. Now, when I call them, I'm going to want basically 5 references, and I want to call all 5 references. And just because you talk to them and they approve of them doesn't mean that it's not their mother, their aunt, their uncle, their sister, and Billy Bob. You need to go check out their jobs. So I go to every single one of their jobs. Now, the second that they start saying, oh, we're done, or we're going to be in Canada for the next 6 weeks, or fill in the blank, if you can't see the jobs that Frank's Framing has done, it's beginning to be a red flag for me. Yeah. And I do this for any subcontractor, and I go through a massive process, and then I talk to the customers that have used him, and what's your feedback? How was the job site? How was the people on the job site? Is the job site trash? Were you happy with everything? Did they show up when they were supposed to? Did they finish when they were supposed to? Was your budget what you were quoted, or your final bill? And you can start getting a whole lot of information real quick. So I go through a pretty long process on that portion alone. And then I want to see job sites. I want to go out there. I want to see what it looks like. I'm no different than when I'm looking for, you know, a new concrete guy to come on for me. I want to see what you've done. Don't just tell me where it's at. I want to drive to it. And the second that, you know, when a customer calls me, I just had a couple from Grand Lake, Oklahoma that called, and I said, would it be okay if I came to one of your job sites? And it's not okay. It's recommended. I want you to. I want you to come look at my concrete work. I'll take you to Augusta, Kansas. We just poured a slab. Come look at it. There's nothing on it. I'm going to take you over here to Valley Center. We just stood up the red iron. Bring your levels, your squares, your plumbs. Check my guys' work. I got one over in Goddard, Kansas. We've got the whole exterior sheathing up, the windows, the trim. Come look at it. Come look at my trim work. I want to show you this. It's not because I'm arrogant. It's because I have the best of the best. My guys are really great at what they do. And I want to show that off. I showcase it. I don't hide that and say, you know, we can't put you on this one because of insurance reasons. Anytime somebody's pushing back, there's a reason. So in a lot of companies, you know, there's times I have to reach out to sheathing crews or different companies to help me out because I'm so far behind. If all they want to show me is the red iron skeleton portion, anybody can run a level in a couple of wrenches. I want to see your sheathing work. I want to see your trim work. Let me see your windows. I will know right away if how good or bad you are just on the sheathing. So companies that just always, well, I got this one framed up. We haven't started sheeting it. Come check it out. No, you just call me when it's done sheeting and I'll come over there then. And if it's bad, they're usually, well, we went on to the next job. There is certain situations and certain customers you have to respect. You know, I don't showcase anybody's house without asking the customer because there is certain instances where the customer is like, I've already moved in here. I prefer people not coming back here. And I respect that. I get you. And I'm going to ask everybody, but the majority of them, you are going to have that from time to time, but not every single job site. And if it's every single job site and you can't get in there to look at concrete and you can't get in there to look at the sheathing, and there's reasons why. So when you're trying to do a do-it-yourselfer and you're trying to hire a lot of this stuff out yourself, you have to be your own general contractor. You have to do what I do. And the people that just call one or two companies and say, yeah, man, you got the lowest price, man. I'm so excited. There's a reason.
You know where that's going. Yep.
Yeah. It's kind of like that metal building director that can get to you in 30 or 45 days. There's a reason. One of my biggest, I mean, I think you could type in my name on about any barndominium page in the United States, and it's going to be a good positive feedback. You know, you can't make everybody happy, but I think I don't have a single one out there. But what you're going to get is you better be ready to wait a year to a year and a half before it even starts. And I get it every day. And it is negative and it is what it is. But if you're good at what you do, whether you're a plumber or electrician or engineer or, you know, whatever it is, you're going to have a setback time because people want you. So that's another thing. Even when I'm looking at subcontractors, one of my very first questions is, when can you get to it? I can get to it tomorrow. Yeah, I'm probably going to really investigate you now. Can you get to it tomorrow because you have 100 employees, or can you get to it tomorrow because you're not good? Yeah. So that's something I look at, and that's something other people should look at. But do your diligence, your homework. The people that you get so excited, you know, I'm no different. These barndominiums are my passion, but I get excited to build every single one, and I'm very passionate about it. But what the general do-it-yourselfer gets so excited, and he talks to one person and he gets one or two bids, and it's like, yes, and they don't do the homework, and that'll bite a general contractor in the butt just as fast as it will, an individual. And a lot of companies, especially if they're less than reputable, they will jump all over the do-it-yourselfer because they know they don't know the difference between right and wrong. So I would say, the do-it-yourselfers right now, the biggest concern is there's a ton of scam artists out there, and there's a lot of people that take your money on a building deposit and or a concrete deposit or whatever portion, and they might do a little work, they might do no work, and they're gone, and you never see them again. So I've got a great standing with multiple banks, so that helps me out a lot, and I let people call all of my customers and all my banks and everybody that I do business with, because I'm in good standing with them, and it helps everybody feel good about that. But I'm no different than anybody else. I don't want to hand you thousands of dollars without talking to you, seeing you, filling it out, seeing your work, seeing everything. So
what about with kits? How about like with the like the metal kit, like, because you go online and type in, there's a lot of names that are pounded. I mean, it's kind of like in my industry, right? With mortgages, there's a big name out there. I mean, they're a marketing company that does mortgages.
Right.
So I think I kind of feel the same way about some of the Barndo, because, again, I don't have personal experience, so it's not necessarily, I'm not making a judgment, but I always question, the thing that pops up to me is like, are they a marketing company that's selling kits?
Yeah. Like, who do you go to? Who do you use? Yeah. I get that a lot. So, and you're right, there is at this point probably hundreds of people out there. I do very little marketing, and there's not, besides previous customers talking about me on Barndominium pages, I've been trying to engage a little more here lately, because that's what the customer wants. I started a TikTok page, which is Midwest Erecting and Fabrication. And if you follow it, I'm not near as, I don't post near as many videos and pictures on there as I do on Facebook. But I need to, my 15-year-old is really right. I've got to stay right now. I'm so busy that I could work off word of mouth and never, have to do anything. But at some point you got to continually be marketing. And so I do very little, but here's what I could probably tell you. I did make a post the other day on one of these pages, because I have so many people in a week's time frame that call me about every issue you can imagine. And I look at it and just like, dang, like I feel so bad for you, because somebody took advantage of you. And it's, I have a hard time saying no to people, and I love helping people, but I'm quickly getting known as the fix-it guy, and I don't want to necessarily be the fix-it guy, but I like helping people. But when you have there's a lot of blueprint companies out there right now, and I am not talking negative on any of them, but there's no way that you can offer a realistic blueprint for your barndominium as far as your floor planning without knowing what type of barndominium kit shell a customer's building. And what happens is the company that's doing the blueprints and the floor planning, they're not telling customers this. They're trying to make their sell on the floor plan and the blueprint. And it's no different than if you're buying. I'll bash Red Iron just because that's what I build, and I don't want to sound too biased here. But if a Red Iron company is trying to sell a customer a barndominium, 9 times out of 10, they're not telling them that the columns are tapered and that they're going to have to figure out what to do. They're not telling them, I don't want to get into engineering stuff, but if you're trying to hang your framing and your sheetrock off of your purlins and your I-beams, your building has to be engineered to do so. If it's just a red iron bolt together metal building, 9 times out of 10, if you go through the engineer stamp blueprints, your collateral load is 1, which is nothing. A sheetrock, 5/8 sheetrock or 1/2 inch is 1.6 pounds per square foot all by itself. So if you're trying to hang 2x4 stud framing, or what they call furring it out across your purlins, and then you're putting a sheetrock on there, and you're putting HVAC, and you got a giant 72-inch windmill fan and all these moonlights and everything that you got going on. This has happened, I'm going to say, a dozen times this year already. I get a call. Can you come down here? Can you look this up? And I'd hate to be bashing Oklahoma and Texas, but I won't say come down here. Can you come up here and look at this situation I have with my sheetrock? And I already know what's happening. I said, let me guess, it's cracking. Like, yeah, but we've remudded it twice. And let me guess, it's after you had a snowstorm or heavy wind. And yeah, we had 60-mile-an-hour wind the other day. And, a couple days later, we noticed that. And what's happening is nobody's telling them, to hang all that stuff off of your actual steel building. If you're not building a standalone structure on the inside of it, it has to be engineered to do so. You have to have a collateral load value, because what's happening is you're getting wind in a certain portion of your building is deflecting, or it's doing this, or you're getting snow and these I-beams are deflecting and they're bending. Yep. And what happens is when they do that, your sheetrock does the same thing. It starts cracking and it separates. And then they don't know why. And they're like, well, no, the building's engineered for Nebraska. It's engineered for our snow load. And I'm like, of course it is. But now you have 5 pounds per square foot collateral load hanging from it on a building that's designed for 1, and then it snows 4 inches, and you've overmaxed it out. And they're like, well, nobody told us that. And there you are. So it happens, and no different. You know, I had a lady the other day. She called. She had already bought the building kit from somebody, dead set on 10-foot sidewalls. I start looking through her engineer prints because she wants me to do the floor planning and the design and her renderings and her mechanical and electrical and plumbing and so on and so forth. I immediately look at her engineer stamp blueprints, and it is a 30 by 50 by 10, which that last numerical value means it's 10 foot tall. So it's 10 foot tall on the outside. So when you take a tape measure and the building's built and you're standing on the outside of it and you're taking it down to the dirt, you're 10 foot, or to your slab, I should say. And she said, well, we know right now we want the 10-foot walls, you know. And I said, well, you're wanting 10 foot on the outside, right? And she said, no, we're dead set on 10-foot walls. That's what we've been envisioning for 5 years now. And it's heartbreaking because I got to tell her, you have a 12-inch tapered beam right there with an 8-inch Z purlin on top of it. You've lost 20 inches right off the bat. And then if you put a 4-inch stud wall in there, the very max that you're going to have is 8 foot here, and just totally devastated. And she's like, they told us it had 10-foot ceilings. And I said, it's 10 foot tall is what they told you. And it is. And you can go back and argue with them on that, but they're going to tell you it's 10 foot tall. And she said, well, we had another company that did say 12 foot, it needed to be 12 foot, but they were $4,200 more. And I'm like, that's because they were doing the right thing. Right. They were giving you a 12-foot tall building so that you could have 10-foot ceilings on the inside. And unfortunately, all you looked at was the price value and like, oh, this guy's $4,200 cheaper. And he took you. And at this point,
and it's funny because I have seen posts in the communities exactly what you're talking about. Like, why did I end up like with my, or they don't talk about why, but at that point they're saying like, hey, this is what happened to me. I ended up with a shorter. I've actually seen those inside the post. So
yeah. So we ended up engineering a foundation for her to where she could put a 2-foot stem wall, put the same building on a 2-foot stem wall, and conquered the odds. But your 2-foot stem wall is now $10,000 or more, you know, depending on, I don't know what mud is in her area and what the labor is, but something that could have been done, you know, for $4,000 is now costing her $15,000. So, yeah. But it's just scenarios like that. And a lot of people don't tell people, okay, like my buildings are engineered where you're having an I-beam on every 20-foot center. And they'll just be like, oh, we want to do windows here and here. We're going to do this. And the metal building company's like, awesome, here's your building. And then they go to hire their blueprint guy or gal, and they design the whole thing and they give it to them like, yes, here you go. And they bring all that to me. And it's like, man, you got your kitchen windows right in the middle of a 12-inch I-beam. Your sliders in the middle of an I-beam over there. Who did this, you know? And she's like, well, we hired a professional company that's very well known. And I'm like, I get that, but nothing is going together here. What I started doing for all my do-it-yourself kits, and I started running into that problem. I started selling my do-it-yourself kits probably a year ago, just because there was a ton of customers that wanted my product, but I couldn't put it up in the time frame that they wanted. What I started doing probably 2 years ago in all my own buildings is I put together what I have always called a builder's project planner, and I made that name up myself, and it's just something I did. But I do all the 3D renderings, inside and outside. I do all your floor plans. I do all your elevations. I do all your MEPs, which is your mechanical, your electrical, your plumbing. I do your foundation, and then I do the structural engineer stamp blueprints. And you have a contractor's set. So it's one package of paper, and it's one package for every single tradesman, start to finish. And for the first probably year, I did this just for me and my guys, just for my company. So I hand it to the dirt work guy. I say, here's where we're at. Here's the porches. Use these blueprints. This is what I need. It'll tell you your granular base to put on top of that. Get the pad done and hand it to Red, and he's going to do get all the form boards formed up. He's going to give it to Steve, the same set of blueprints. He's going to get the rough end done as we're doing the form boards. We'll get this all poured, hand it to Randy so he has it for structural. He'll have a layout of every single window centered on in. Everything coincides with the design of my building. You're never going to have off the, from the very get-go when I'm doing renderings with a customer and we're sitting down and they'll say, I want this and this and this here. And I'll tell them, you can't do that because there's a column there. So let's do this. Let's rearrange this. It makes it so streamlined. So, and these set of blueprints they go right down to your framer, right down to your electrician, your final plumber, your cabinets, your carpentry. One packet, like I say, I just made up the verbiage of a builder's project planner, and I put it in, this is my daily planner, but it's just a packet of blueprints. And every tradesman from start to finish has the same thing. And what I realized in my own company is anytime an employee makes a mistake, not every time, but there's a lot of he said, she said, I did this because they did that. And it was a problem. And I'm like, okay, guys, like I told you this had to be here. I told you this had to be here. And there was always the pointing game. And when you all have this set of blueprints and this, this builder's project planner, there's no guesswork to who messed up because everybody has the same blueprints. And it's not that I care and I want to jump down somebody's butt. It's I need to know where we went wrong so I can fix it. You're going to have mishaps in construction and you're going to have problems from start to finish because that's construction. But you've got to be able to figure out why and what happened and where. And so I just started 4 months ago offering my builder's project planner booklet to the general public. And I have had a lot of, it's taken off. It's great, but there's a lot of people that are like, you're just giving out your secrets. And I am in a sense, but the people that are dead set on doing it themselves are going to do what I used to do without one. And they're going to beat their head against the wall for 24 months until they get it done because they are persistent, just like me, and they're going to figure it out. But I'm not worried about running out of work. I'm an honest person and I'm a hard worker and there's plenty of work out there. What I offer for these people is a streamlined, painless as possible process to doing it yourself. Even if you're not doing it yourself and you're subcontracting it all out, I give you the tools, to prosper and to do your kit the correct way. And I tell every one of my customers exactly what I told you as far as how I shop my subcontractors when I have to. And I'm not saying my way is the right way. This is just what I do. It works pretty well because I've got burnt by big people and I've got, hurt many times, and everything I do is because of something that's went bad before. So I've taken a lot of the fall for most people, but I've got it, I learn every day and I'm making it more streamlined every day, but it helps it out a lot. So whether you're buying a building kit from Midwest Erecting and Fabrication or whether you're buying it from somebody in North Carolina, it doesn't matter to me. But if you can buy from a company that has some type of builder's project planner booklet, it will simplify a million of your 1,025 problems that you're going to have.
Absolutely. Yep.
It helps streamline so much stuff. So there's, and it's very discouraging when somebody goes and buys a metal building kit and then pays, $10,000 for a set of blueprints and they haven't even done their concrete and they already have huge problem number one. Right. Because windows are in the middle of posts and doors and that happens every day. And the sad reality of it is I don't necessarily know that people are just out to get people. I think they're more uneducated than anything. I think a lot of people do try to sell a good quality product, but they don't know about collateral loads and what's being hung off of this. And they don't know that on metal buildings, steel buildings, you're not sitting on 8-inch centers like you are on a post frame. We're 25-foot centers, we're 20-foot centers. So I would like to think it's a lack of education as opposed to just out there to get you. But the reality of it is it doesn't matter what happened. The customer is the one that's on the losing end of it. And that's when they start reaching out to social media and to companies like me and trying to figure out what happened and why and where it went wrong. So to the do-it-yourselfer, try to find a company that offers it all. The one-stop shop for your do-it-yourselfers. You get the building kit that matches the blueprints, that matches the foundation, that matches the erecting, the contractor's prints, that matches the plumbing, the electric, the whole 9 yards. And then if you have an issue, you call me and it's my fault, or whoever you're buying it from. It simplifies, the do-it-yourself process. I now have 2 companies that buy from me on almost a monthly basis, and they run a company much like mine. And they buy my building kit from me. They buy my whole builder's project planner for each kit, and they don't even know how to build them. They're subbing out they're subbing out erecting crews, they're subbing out framing crews, and they're building these turnkey barndominiums, and they're selling them and they're leasing them out, and they're doing whatever they want to do with them. And I'm okay with that. I've started basically from offering this 2 different barndominium companies that in reality are my competitors, but it's okay, because if you're good and you're honest and you do what you're supposed to do, you're going to have work no matter what. So it helps out. And I don't know how many other companies are out there like mine. I don't know anybody else that offers that.
Yeah.
It's just one of many learning lessons that I've had to find out the hard way. And I've tackled a way to fix it and to break the system to where it works out for me and for my guys. And once I did it for a good year, I'm like, man, this is so easy. This makes my job so much easier. And if it worked for me, then I know it's going to work for everybody else. And so,
because you're providing a standard operating procedure, right? Like you put together an SOP for the consumer, which it's like, going back to the Ray Kroc and McDonald's, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it's a system. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And it works out and it makes it a little less painless. So for the do-it-yourselfers, I would try to find something like that. And there's some companies that probably do that in post frame, or should be. I don't know. But I'm not saying do it for me. I'm not saying do it for steel. But if you can not be hiring multiple different companies to do multiple different things, it will make your do-it-yourself procedure a lot more fun. So that's my advice on do-it-yourself. Don't skimp on your shell. Don't skimp on your windows. Don't skimp on your insulation. There's a lot of areas on the inside. Go cheap on your tile if you want. Go cheap on your cabinets. You can replace that in 10 years. You can upgrade your flooring as money allows, and as you get a bigger budget and a better job and you get older and your kids are established. You can never change your shell. Your windows you can change, but they're extremely hard. You can never go back and fix your poor insulation decisions. So for the do-it-yourselfers, don't skip on those 3 things, because I have all 3 in multiple different variations, and it's burnt me every single time.
That is, why don't we wrap up with that? Because that's the perfect closing. Because I mean, everything you've shared, but like those golden nuggets at the end, like that's like the perfect way to cap it up, to say like this is where you're at. Like it kind of,
absolutely. It's not just my opinions. It's stuff I've lived through and I've worked through and I've got burned on. So that's my advice on that. But Jon, I really appreciate you having me. Thanks for my patience. And I know I'm a talker. I kind of got the gift of gab, but thanks for sitting down and listening to everything I have to say.
Oh, our pleasure. Like I said, we're honored to have you. Hey, before we wrap up for this, though, and we'll make sure that we include contact information inside of our program, but if someone is interested in one of your kits, how do they reach out? How do they find you?
So we do have a TikTok, Midwest Erecting and Fabrication. We have a Facebook page, Midwest Erecting and Fabrication. You can send me your blueprints at midwesterecting@gmail.com. We have a website that has... you go to Midwest Erecting and Fab, F-A-B. So Midwest Erecting and Fab.com. You can get on there. You can kind of see some of the different things that we do and what we offer. We have financing on our Facebook as well. We have a cool little 3D design feature where you can kind of build your own barndominium, and then you can just send a link off and it comes right to us and we can send you back a bid. So that's actually a really fun tool. I suggest doing it off a laptop or a PC, but you can do it off your phone. You know, if you're sitting at work, it's a little bit harder to figure out on a cell phone, but it's really fun. You can build your own little 3D rendering. It doesn't serve as any construction type purpose, but whether you use me or not, that's a free service to the public. So hop on there, Midwest Erecting and Fab.com, build your own 3D rendering. You can print it off. If you're curious what I would charge for it, send the link through and I can send you an email back that'll tell you what I would charge for it. And yeah, if you want to get a hold of me on a do-it-yourself kit or on a builder's project planner, I do offer them for other people's kits. I do 3D design work, like I say, 3D rendering, all your elevations, your MEPs, your foundation, your structural engineering. So we offer that whether you're buying a kit from us or whether you've already bought a kit. I can work around your pre-engineered beams if you already have a red iron kit. 316-200-1201 if you want to get a hold of me. So give me a call. I can help you out. Even if you're not using me and you have issues, get a hold of me. I like helping people, so I'll help you out the best I can.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you again. Appreciate your servant's heart, and yeah, we'll look forward to maybe some more episodes down the road.
Alrighty. I appreciate it, John. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.